Today we'll be reviewing Tello Mobile, showing you a real user experience and going over some of the pros and the cons and why I think that the level of control and the quality of this service is going to make this a top contender for best prepaid carrier MVNO in 2025. Let's go ahead and talk about it. And just a heads up, there's a affiliate link in the description and in the pinned comment. If you click on that link, it'll take you right over to Tello and you can start saving right away. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Everton. Yeah, I've actually been on Tello. Well, I've used them in the past years, but I've actually just recently been rocking with them for like the last 3 to 4 months, and it's been really exciting. I'm not gonna lie to you. They just give you what you sign up for, and they're full-fledged carrier. They have been around since 2016, and they got all the features. They got eSIM, Wi-Fi calling, family plans, hotspots included, international calling to Canada and Mexico, and a bunch of just other perks that come with it, and a really amazing app. But I am gonna actually be staying with the company this time. I'll tell you why later, but yeah. Now, when you sign up for a plan, they do offer you to customize the data and minutes. Customizing these options does impact the cost of the plan, but this allows you for more control over your budget and what you actually utilize. Now, personally for me, I've had experience with other carriers where they give you kind of like a cookie cutter plan, and what you use is essentially like whatever they allot out to you, but you may need something in the middle and you may be able to fine tune that price so much more. And just a heads up, I've had some companies, they try to essentially it's a part of their billing tactic, right? Like they'll try to get you to sign up for something. You're locked into that amount of data. If you go over, you pay a very expensive amount to get additional data by topping up or something like that. With this, you know what you're getting and you can really fine tune it. And so I really love the customization options there. Now, if you're not into customizing, they do have some pre-selected options for you. They're a little bit easier, but you can always fine tune it. But if you want something from little as 1 gigabyte of data up until the unlimited plan, you can definitely choose that and show what works for you. So I'm gonna really quickly go over the calling because I really haven't had too much issue with it. So calling is standard, right? I think that most carriers have pretty good calling right now. I live in San Antonio, and it has a good mix of rural and city and urban. And I've been all over the city, taking my daughter to rural parts for horseback riding, and then I've also taken, been in the city where I go to work, and I'm, just in a very, populated area, and call quality is fine, right? It's really good. I have no issues. So I just wanted to wrap that up there. And I've also taken the service out of town a couple times, had no issue. But the data is what I really want to talk about. So data, in my opinion, is really, really, really excellent. And it's not, most data it runs on one of America's largest 5G networks right now. To be honest with you, haven't had any issues with it. But part of it is because the reason I say it's really fast, right? First of all, I run speed tests on this thing, getting outdoors like 800 Mbps down, indoors slightly less in my apartment because there's all these other buildings around me, but still super fast. But when I'm outdoors, it's blazing fast. One thing though is about viewing content. Now, I have this big complaint with a lot of carriers, especially in the prepaid space, where a lot of times they're very heavy-handed on whenever you try to stream data. So you'll try to stream a YouTube, video, and all of a sudden the resolution goes to crap. It's like, maybe it's not crap, but it's 480. I haven't seen anything on their website that they're streaming at 480, but I do feel like this is really good quality. I'm able to stream 4K. I've run a couple fast.com tests, and it's pulling down a lot of data, which indicates that when you run a fast.com test, it indicates that you're streaming data from Netflix, and it would, if your network had any restrictions, it would kick in on that data. It's pulling in all the data that it can get. But before we move off of the call quality and also the data, I do want to talk about their international calling and roaming rates. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, their calling and international is some of the cheapest I've ever seen that's out there. They recently did something to kind of celebrate, their company's milestone, is that their roaming rates are 5 times lower. So they've made this thing and that's a big deal for international travelers. I know for me and myself, I've recently been wanting to travel, and one of the things that gives me cause is like, well, what's my bill gonna look like once I actually go, out of the country? What will my data look like? What will my minutes look like? What will those costs be? They're not gonna sell you some plan for a day or two where you gotta spend $10 if I don't need it, or $10 a day, or $40 for a week, or a packet of data. No, it's really cheap, and they're significantly cheap. I've been checking with other carriers, and just countries that I'm interested in going to. And when I do the math, I'm like, man, this is going to be really cost effective if I do want to go out of town. So international rates are 5 times lower, especially in some of your destination places like Jamaica, which is where I'm from, and just other places that that I am interested in traveling. So I'm super excited about that. So there are other perks that I want to talk about when it comes to this service that don't come with the actual call quality and data. And one of those is the fact that it has a really cool app. Now, this app, you can actually download it to see your usage. And you can actually use it to make calls. You can call from a tablet. You can use that service as long as you're connected to data or Wi-Fi. I mean, you can be on any device and essentially turn it into a mobile connection device. I'll just be in the bedroom with my tablet, my phone be somewhere, and I just don't feel like getting up. So I just use my tablet to make a phone call. So I think that stuff is pretty cool. So they also have some WebGuard things. So, safety nets for internet browsing when it comes to a minor having a phone. And WebGuard allows you to choose which selection of security that you want for your person who's going to have data on your phone, what they have access to. The internet is a open gateway, and without having to buy a super strict kid phone, you can give a kid Tello or a minor Tello and be able to mostly block out what they can see and safeguard it, so you have some kind of level of comfort, like, oh yeah, my kid is going to be exposed to everything that's out there, and that could, you don't want them to be exposed to. So I think that's super dope. But the level of control that they give you here without having anything impeding, just the ability to utilize the service is super dope. So I've been really giving Tello a lot of praise, but there are certain things that, come into play with the service that are just a little bit odd for me. So I'm going to talk about them as well. So number one, when you actually port in your number, or if you wanted to port your number, you have to activate the service first, and then you'll be able to port it in. I think that, it's a little bit weird. This is the first company that I've seen that you have to activate the service. They have to establish you a number. It could be just considered a temporary number, and then you can port it in. Usually you can do that all in one swoop, so that's a little bit odd. I think that's really it. I mean, they have a lot of other... they do things really well, right? It's just one of those companies where what you pay for is what you get. All right. You just see, if you want a lot of minutes, you're going to get a lot of minutes, and that's what you paid for. So I think that's super dope. But the level of control that they give you here without having anything impeding, just the ability to utilize the service is super dope. Now, I've taken this everywhere. Like I said, the service has been amazing. So I've traveled all up and down Texas, Houston, Dallas. I've been to Florida, and it's been an excellent service, really wide 5G coverage. In fact, I can't really remember a time when the service dipped back to 4G LTE. This is very, very wide coverage, and the service works well. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that really quickly, give you guys a heads up. There is a link to Tello in the description if you guys want to check it out. Definitely check it out. But until next time, I'm Everton. I do videos Everton's way. Peace.